It's not often that we get genuine updates about things, say, like SOAP as an operator within Modern Warfare and the remaining content that comes along with it, but with each update that we do get, it seems like the story just keeps getting stranger and stranger, and as of recently, there's been another genuine update that continues that trail of what is going on. Today we're going to catch you up to speed here with everything you need to know and let you know that new update in regards to this overall story of what's coming out to be the most elusive Modern Warfare content yet. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Are you guys as confused as I am? Do you think it will be dropping sometime soon? Or what's your theory here on SOAP, these new weapons that have yet to be released and the maps that accompany it? Whatever it is, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's aim for 1,000 likes here on this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel and want to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and anything COD related, hit that subscribe button. Love to have you in the community. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel bumped up code Espresso to 30% off. So you guys are interested in picking up a restock, trying it out for the first time, whatever it may be, links in the description below. But said, let's jump right into it. So anyway, to catch you up to speed, here's a quick little crash course of the timeline of what we know and how everything's progressed over the course of the last 6 to 8 months. Now, SOAP initially had some voice lines introduced in the game files and battle pass hints and other items like that that are small little teasers over the course of Season 5 and Season 6 of Modern Warfare's main year of support. But around November 22nd, we actually saw that there were actually operator files introduced, as well as the new RAAL LMG, Psychov pistol, and CX-9 that were data mined, along with new maps even being introduced. So November 22nd was our first real, I guess, substance that we had in terms of this rumor for new content coming. A little under a month later, we finally saw the continuation of the Modern Warfare and Warzone storyline and a sort of wrap up with a story that we had been told through Modern Warfare's campaigns, Spec Ops, and eventually then Warzone, where intel missions progressed that storyline. And in the final ones, we saw a cutscene where Task Force 141 thwarts Sakayev's plan to launch the nukes and start World War III. But while ending it, Ghost tells Price that this isn't over, to which he replies, not by a long shot, presumably referring to the setup for a Modern Warfare 2 that will likely be coming in 2022, given that Sledgehammer is at the helm for this year's title. But then we end up hearing over the comms channel, McTavish to actual, and Price acknowledges then, SOAP, what's your position? And we hear half a click off the coast and that things are heating up. So even at this point, SOAP was acknowledged officially in the game that he was in the universe, that he was going to be an operator here coming, as was indicated by progressive builds for weeks to months leading up to that in the game files, but still no confirmation on release timing. Then speculation built and built and built, and then the next time we saw anything in regards to this was with the introduction of Season 2 content, and that just really confused a lot of people. Now, most of the Season 2 content focus was of course on Cold War and then Warzone, with a bunch of stuff happening for zombies in Cold War, new maps, new weapons, and everything like that. But in Warzone, we saw the new shipwreck point of interest and a lot of clues pointing towards the build-up and nuke event that would come later on at the start of Season 3. But under the radar, we also saw introduced were the Sirach blueprint of the CX-9 and the Rook blueprint of the RAAL LMG introduced into Warzone as ground and cache loot. This lasted a short period of time, but normally up until this point in Warzone, the ground and chest spawn loot was always items that would be introduced throughout the season in the shop, so that players could pick up an item, and if they liked it, they were able to buy it at some point. Agree with it or not, that's what happened, and it drove a ton of sales likely, but 2 of those missing weapons were introduced and playable for a short period of time, but then removed and were never seen in the shop in Season 2. Now after that, a little while later, on March 31st, for the mid-season update of Season 2, Modern Warfare's bit of content dropped out of nowhere. In this update, not in the patch notes, and literally hidden in the game if it were not for a Killhouse 24/7 playlist that went live, was the release of the final 3 maps for Modern Warfare, introducing Killhouse, Al-Raab airbase, and a gunfight map called Drainage. But stranger still, not 36 hours later, 2 of those maps were removed from the map pool and private match play, and a few days later, acknowledged by Infinity Ward, stating we recently released 2 new maps to Modern Warfare, Drainage and Al-Raab airbase, which were available in private match. We temporarily removed them as they weren't quite ready and need a bit more love before returning. We'll update soon on when they'll be back, but That was on April 12th, and since then, outside of a few retweets, the Infinity Ward Twitter has been entirely radio silent. Now, a few days after the introduction of these maps, but before the removal, was also on April 6th, we ended up seeing that another hidden content edition of the long-awaited Tracer Pack Crimson Ronin bundle was introduced to the game, and that came with the Ronin skin, donning samurai gear, and some cool Tracer rounds on the Ram 7 and other weapons. After that, a few days later, on April 15th, another random drop came in which we saw the Psychov pistol released alongside the secondary operator that was unreleased of Sparks. And since then, that is everything that's been introduced into Modern Warfare, and honestly, some of which has already been removed. No new weapons, no new bundles, no new maps re-added, but since April 15th, we have once again been kind of in limbo. Now, where the update to this whole mystery comes into play is that a little while back, and one of the last times we talked about this, some players reported being able to buy soap through a backdoor method to the shop collections in Modern Warfare. For those unaware, each bundle in Modern Warfare, Cold War, and Warzone has a unique ID that is logged on the side of Call of Duty's account databasing, and from there you can log into your account online in a web browser and take a look at literally every bundle available, and I believe in most cases purchase those items as well. Meaning that if you had the link to a certain content bundle, you were able to purchase it even if it wasn't released just yet. But the problem with that is that you had to know the exact unique ID and the proper URL to view it, and with thousands of items now, it seems, introduced via the shop through Modern Warfare and Cold War, naturally that's like trying to find a needle in a haystack for things like soap and other unreleased content. But when we discussed it last, we did mention this method, and I had seen it with my own eyes. But the new development here with this is that it's been entirely wiped from this database, which could imply that it might not be coming at all in the foreseeable future. Now, I don't necessarily want to jump to any conclusions because it very easily could be a way for Activision to prevent backdoor purchases and early access to that content, but the unforeseen confirmation is what system the account databasing uses. If it's something that is actually properly tied to the actual in-game files, if it's removed from that databasing and is tethered via live updates, that could mean the content isn't actually there anymore. But it also could be a case of where, just like COD Tracker and how we viewed this stuff before, it's only databased based off the first initial introductions here, meaning that if it was ever in play, we can see it forever. And in that same vein, this stuff is still up on COD Tracker because it was pulled when it was initially databased months ago. But either way, it's an incredibly strange thing to consider that potentially these unreleased items like soap, the CX-9 blueprint that would come along with it, and even that secondary Sparks bundle, that they're just not there anymore. Now, if I were to guess, this is simply a formality, a way to stop players from accessing said content early and likely as a security measure. As much as I want soap for myself, I didn't purchase this, even though while the option was there, I had the link directly to it because unreleased content is actually one of the biggest red flags for automated cheating systems to detect and ban accounts. You may remember the last time that we actually brought this up, it was because it was in relation to a recent ban wave that took out thousands of cheaters. Not because of their cheats being detected, but because they were running the soap operator skin and using the CX-9 that came with that bundle. Unreleased content was the bigger flag for those automated systems than things like genuine aimbot and walls. So it's quite possible, and that's kind of what I'm assuming was done here, was in relation to pull any and all chances of the early content to protect players' accounts so they didn't get automatically banned. But there is that possibility that potentially under the radar, it could have just been pulled entirely. That is the big question mark here at this. Now, of course, there are still some leading theories in regards to everything that could be happening here when this content is released or not released, and I think that there's still those three leading theories. The first one, and probably the most depressing one, is that this may have been a rumored Season 7 content. With Cold War not doing so hot in development as reported, there could have been a delay on the launch of Cold War. Give players some more Modern Warfare content as a consolation and an additional final season to come. This, given the cutscene development, could have actually been the case because those cutscenes are made months in advance, so by the time that was greenlit and soap was introduced via that final cutscene, that could have been something that was actually made when development wasn't quite ready, and there could have been that potential for a delay. Perhaps this cutscene was made in May or June or something like that, which was well before Black Ops Cold War was ever actually officially announced for a release date and even to the world in general, and also the time when development was reported to be going pretty poorly. But if that were the case, then we'd have a perfect amount of content for a Season 7 by comparison to what we'd normally see. 2 to 3 new operators in Soap and Sparks, 3 new weapons in the Psychov, RAAL, and CX-9, 3 new maps across the season, with potentially Ground War being another introduction as well, taking a section of Verdansk and transferring it over to multiplayer, since there's still a lot we haven't seen for Ground War and Verdansk. But with that non-delay of the game and an on-time release, that would have then scrapped that entire Season 7 project and effectively canceled that content. The second theory is that it's promo pieces for Modern Warfare 3 Campaign Remastered. A long-standing rumors that we'll see that Modern Warfare 3 Campaign Remastered, given that we saw Modern Warfare and COD 4 remastered with Infinite Warfare, and then the campaign of Modern Warfare 2 sometime last year, so why not finish out the 3? And reportedly even being contractually obligated with Sony to finish out those 3. But given that we saw the Ghost UDT skin and a bundle associated with that, why not throw in a bundle of an operator that we all want to see within Modern Warfare and Warzone to boost those sales a little further? And then there's also that theory that it could be a pre-order incentive for Modern Warfare 2 in 2022, or maybe as of the time of this being prepared in 2021. Because there was that really strange and off-the-wall reporting that it was a race to see who could get 2021's Call of Duty done first. Because apparently World War II Vanguard by Sledgehammer this year wasn't in the hottest state of development as of a couple of months ago before it was officially confirmed that they'd be going forward and making the next Call of Duty. So if Infinity Ward had to turn around and make a Modern Warfare 2 game the year after Black Ops Cold War was released, we actually could have seen that be a lead up and a pre-order incentive, something that hyped up the release and reveal of Modern Warfare 2, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now, so perhaps it's even saved off until later. And I guess there could have been that fourth theory where all 3 of these could have been in play at some point, but instead it's just dropped randomly, which also could be the case, given that we saw the other stuff that has come out dropped randomly as well. But anyways, that's the development here with this, where as strange as it seems, some of the official databasing has been updated to remove things like SOAP and the secondary Sparks bundle. But will they return is the biggest question, and if that means that it removes this content entirely, that's the stuff that's yet to be seen. But I wanted to keep you guys up to date here with this because honestly, as much as I want to see this stuff come, it's incredibly fascinating to see that this defies all logic of release content for what we know with Call of Duty in years past. So that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Do you guys think we'll still get SOAP at some point? The RAAL LMG, the CX9, whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Modern Warfare, and anything COD related. We'll give you the day with absolutely all of it. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get content on YouTube. Probably live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.